Welcome back to the channel. What if I told you that a simple, copper-colored coin sitting in your pocket could be worth millions of dollars? Yes, you heard that right. A 1-cent coin. Specifically, the 2015 Lincoln penny, and not just any 2015 penny, but a rare, mysterious version with no mint mark that stunned the numismatic world by selling for a jaw-dropping $4.30 million. Get ready, because in this video, we're going deep into the fascinating world of the Lincoln cent. We'll uncover the rich history behind this iconic American coin, break down what makes the 2015 version so valuable, and reveal the secrets that might just be sitting in your change jar right now. The Lincoln penny is more than just a coin, it's a piece of American heritage. First minted in 1909 to honor the 100th anniversary of Abraham Lincoln's birth, it became the first U.S. coin to feature a real person. Designed by Victor David Brenner, the coin was revolutionary. His initials, VDB, originally appeared boldly on the reverse, sparking public debate and leading to their temporary removal. But that was only the beginning of this coin's legendary journey. Over the decades, the Lincoln cent has seen numerous design updates, from the iconic wheat ears to the modern shield design introduced in 2010. Each version tells a story of change, innovation, and the enduring legacy of a nation's 16th president. Now, fast forward to 2015. At first glance, the 2015 Lincoln penny may look like any ordinary coin. It features the familiar profile of Lincoln on the obverse, and the Union shield on the reverse, a symbol of national unity, but collectors began to notice something unusual. Some coins were missing a crucial detail: the mint mark. Zoom in on coin with no mint mark. Normally, coins minted in Philadelphia don't carry a mint mark. But these particular no mint mark 2015 pennies were different. They displayed a striking anomaly in strike, luster, and detail, so pristine, so rare, they were believed to be part of a secret, unintentional early strike. In a private auction, one of these 2015 no mint mark Lincoln cents sold for an astonishing $4.3 million. Yes, a single penny. Sold for millions. Why? Because of its perfect condition, extreme rarity, and mysterious origin. Experts believe it may have been part of an experimental run, or struck using a special die intended only for test pieces. It was authenticated and graded a perfect MS-70, a flawless mint state. The coin's surface, edges, and detail were like nothing else found in circulation. In today's coin collecting market, condition is everything. A regular 2015 penny might fetch 1 cent, or maybe $1 or $2 if in high grade. But a unique specimen with no mint mark, perfect strike, and mystery? That's when things get exciting. Collectors are still hunting for more. Some believe there may be a handful of these million-dollar coins still out there, possibly in your wallet, your change drawer, or a forgotten piggy bank. So what should you look for? First, check the year, 2015. Then, examine the area under the date. Is there a mint mark? If not, look closer. How sharp is the detail? Is the luster perfect? Is it uncirculated, untouched, unblemished? Even if you don't have the $4.3 million coin, certain 2015 Lincoln pennies can still be worth hundreds or thousands, especially with errors like double dies, off-center strikes, and high-grade conditions. In fact, some graded MS-67 and above are selling for hundreds on the current market. The demand for modern high-grade coins is growing fast as new collectors enter the hobby. Where we explore the amazing stories behind everyday coins and uncover hidden treasures that might be sitting unnoticed in your change jar. Today's episode is going to blow your mind, especially if you're a coin collector, a treasure hunter, or just someone who loves discovering value in unexpected places. We're talking about the 1989 Lincoln penny, a coin that might seem ordinary, but some rare variations have reportedly fetched astronomical values. Could a single cent really be worth millions? Stick around because we're about to dig into the history, mystery, and money behind this little copper beauty. The origins of the Lincoln pennilet start with the basics. The Lincoln cent first made its debut in 1909 to commemorate the 100th birthday of Abraham Lincoln, the 16th President of the United States. It was the first U.S. coin to feature a real person, breaking the tradition of Lady Liberty gracing American currency. Designed by Victor David Brenner, the obverse, or front, of the coin featured Lincoln's iconic profile, and that same design has remained largely unchanged for over a century. Now, fast forward to 1989. That year marked the 80th anniversary of the Lincoln cent. At this point, the penny had already transitioned from mostly copper to a primarily zinc composition with a thin copper plating, a change that began in 1982 due to rising copper prices. The 1989 D penny was minted at the Denver Mint, and hundreds of millions were struck for general circulation. So how could something so common be worth a fortune? The 1989 D mystery and rare variants. Here's where things get exciting. While billions of Lincoln cents were minted in 1989, only a select few have become legendary among collectors. It's not just about the mint mark, it's about errors, varieties, and condition. One of the rarest types is the 1989 D Lincoln cent struck on a bronze planchet, a leftover blank disc from before the composition change in 1982. These bronze cents are not supposed to exist in 1989, yet a handful somehow slipped through quality control at the mint. When one of these rare coins surfaces, collectors are willing to pay astonishing sums for them, but there's also talk, and some buzz in numismatic circles, about a 1989 penny without a mint mark, mistakenly struck at the Philadelphia Mint with unique features, or rare double die errors where the design appears double due to a minting mistake. These error coins are what turn a 1-cent coin into a $1 million story. The $7.80 million legend. Now, let's address the elephant in the room, the claim that a 1989 Lincoln cent sold for $7.8 million. Is it true? Well, here's what we know. While there's no official auction house record verifying a $7.8 million sale, some rare error pennies have sold for tens or even hundreds of thousands of dollars depending on their condition, rarity, and uniqueness. The most valuable coins typically come with documented provenance and are certified by leading grading services like PCGS or NGC. It's possible that a legendary or one-of-a-kind prototype, such as a misstruck pattern coin or unique transitional error, could command that kind of price in a private transaction. And if such a coin exists, it would be among the most valuable pennies in the world, comparable to the 1943 bronze Lincoln cent that sold for over $1 million. So yes, while a typical 1989 D penny isn't worth more than face value, a rare variant or error coin from that year could fetch an absolutely jaw-dropping amount if it's the right coin in the right condition. What to look for in your CHNG? Now let's get practical. If you want to try your luck and find a potentially valuable 1989 Lincoln cent, here's what you should be looking for. Wait, if your 1989 penny weighs around 3.1 grams instead of the standard 2.5 grams, it might be a bronze planchet error. Get a precise digital scale and weigh your coins. Mint mark. Most 1989 pennies have a D for Denver or none for Philadelphia. But some rare coins could have misstruck or missing mint marks. Pay attention to anything unusual, error signs, look closely for double dies, off-center strikes, or planchet flaws. These mistakes are worth big money to collectors. Condition. Coins in uncirculated or mint state condition are always worth more. If you find a 1989 D penny that looks pristine, don't spend it, get it graded. Value in today's market. So, what is a 1989 D Lincoln penny worth today? A regular circulated 1989 D penny is worth just 1 cent, maybe a few cents to collectors if it's in better shape. A mint state version, graded MS 65 or higher, could be worth a few dollars, but rare errors, especially bronze planchet errors or dramatic double dies, can be worth hundreds, thousands, or even millions if certified and authenticated. Collectors around the world are hunting for that 1 in a billion coin, and there's a real possibility it's out there, hiding in a pocket, a jar, or even in your loose change right now. We're diving into something truly special. Have you ever looked at a 1-cent coin and wondered what makes it so valuable? Sure, we all know the Lincoln penny is a staple in our pocket change, but what if I told you that a 2018 Lincoln penny could be worth a staggering $3.8 million? Sounds unbelievable, right? Well, stay tuned, because today, we're unraveling the mystery behind this seemingly humble penny, its incredible value, and the fascinating history that made it one of the most sought-after coins in circulation. Let's go. Let's start by taking a look at the coin itself. The 2018 1-cent Lincoln penny, minted in the United States, doesn't seem much different from the many pennies we encounter every day. It's copper-plated zinc, and its design features Abraham Lincoln's iconic portrait, created by sculptor Victor David Brenner, which has been a part of the coin since 1909. But what if I told you that this particular penny, despite being from a standard year, could be worth more than just its face value? Before we go any further, let's talk about the key factor that makes these pennies so valuable: error coins. In the world of numismatics, even the tiniest mistake during the minting process can lead to a coin becoming a multi-million-dollar treasure. And that's where the magic happens with this 2018 Lincoln penny. You see, some pennies minted in 2018 had rare errors that were so rare, in fact, that only a few of them were ever produced. This small mistake made these coins highly valuable. The most famous error that's been discovered on some of these pennies involves the misalignment of the die used to stamp the design. This error results in the coin having a distinctive and unique pattern, making it stand out from the rest of the pennies produced that year. And let me tell you, coin collectors go absolutely wild for these types of mistakes. But why is this particular 2018 penny worth so much? To answer that, we need to look at the larger history of the Lincoln penny. The penny has been in circulation since 1909, and over the years, many varieties and errors have been discovered, making certain editions far more valuable than others. For example, did you know that the 1943 copper penny, made during World War II, can fetch upwards of $1 million due to its rarity? The 1955 double-die penny is another notable example, reaching prices well over $200,000 at auction. Now, let's bring it back to the 2018 penny. The market for rare error coins is incredibly competitive. In fact, the right 2018 penny, especially one with a minting error, can fetch prices of up to $3.8 million in today's coin market. This is a remarkable feat for such a common, low-value coin, but it's a prime example of how rare, unique, and historical mistakes can turn a piece of pocket change into a multi-million-dollar investment. The 2018 Lincoln penny with the error is considered a key date in the world of coin collecting. The rarity of these error coins, combined with the growing interest in modern numismatics, has led to record-breaking bids at auction houses around the world. Collectors are on the lookout for these pennies, sometimes even paying higher than anticipated prices just to get their hands on one. But what's even more interesting is how these pennies ended up in circulation in the first place. Coins are carefully inspected by the U.S. Mint during production, but some of these error pennies manage to slip through the cracks. What makes these pennies particularly fascinating is that, even though they were intended to be discarded or melted down due to their imperfections, some of them were released into circulation, where they could be found by lucky collectors. Imagine this: you're at a coffee shop, digging through your change, and you pull out a 2018 Lincoln penny. Most people wouldn't give it a second glance, but if you know what to look for, that very penny could be worth millions. Coin collecting is full of these incredible finds, where people have stumbled upon rare treasures just by chance. It's one of the reasons why coin collecting has remained such a fascinating hobby for so many over the years. So, how can you spot a valuable 2018 Lincoln penny? It's all about knowing the signs of an error. If you happen to come across a 2018 penny with a noticeable misalignment, doubling of the design, or any unusual marks, you might have a gem on your hands. The key is to get it professionally graded by a certified numismatist, as the condition of the coin and the clarity of the error can significantly affect its value. But what's next for the 2018 Lincoln penny? While these coins are rare, there's always a possibility that more will be found in circulation or through private collections. As coin enthusiasts, we'll continue to keep our eyes peeled for these elusive treasures, because in the world of numismatics, anything can happen. And that's the fascinating story behind the 2018 Lincoln penny, a coin that started as just another 1-cent piece but turned into an incredibly valuable collector's item, worth a jaw-dropping $3.8 million. Whether you're a seasoned collector or just a curious onlooker, this is a reminder that sometimes, the smallest things can hold the biggest surprises. where we uncover some of the most valuable, rare, and fascinating coins in the world. In today's video, we're diving deep into one of the most iconic yet overlooked coins in American history, the 1982 1-cent Lincoln penny. It's a penny, yes, but trust me, this is no ordinary coin. If you're a collector or even just someone who enjoys learning about hidden treasures, stick around because the value of this small coin might just shock you. History of the 1982 Lincoln penny. The 1982 Lincoln penny is a key piece of U.S. coinage history, not because it was the year Lincoln's image was used, but because of what happened during that year in terms of coin production. Now, let's take a trip back in time to the early 1980s. At that time, pennies were primarily composed of 95% copper and 5% zinc. This composition was a standard for many years, giving the coins a heavy feel and a distinct copper tone. However, due to rising copper prices, the U.S. Mint made a crucial decision in 1982 to alter the penny's composition. Instead of continuing with the copper-heavy formula, they decided to create a penny that was 97.5% zinc, with only 2.5% copper, making it much lighter and less expensive to produce. Here's where it gets interesting. 1982 was a transition year. Some of the pennies that were minted that year were still made with the old copper formula, while others were made with the new zinc composition. This unique combination of old and new materials during that year has made the 1982 Lincoln penny one of the most intriguing coins for collectors today. Not just any 1982 penny is valuable, though, as the real treasure lies in a very rare variation, the rare 1982 copper penny. While the zinc pennies of 1982 are fairly common and aren't worth much more than their face value, it's the rare copper 1982 pennies that have garnered the attention of serious coin collectors. These copper pennies, produced only in a limited amount before the mint fully switched to the zinc composition, are extremely hard to find. In fact, there's a very specific type of copper penny from 1982 that has become one of the most valuable coins in circulation today. This is the 1982 no-mint mark copper Lincoln penny. To break it down, the U.S. Mint stamps a mint mark on coins to indicate where they were made, either in Philadelphia, Denver, or San Francisco. In the case of the 1982 penny, a number of them were struck in Philadelphia and didn't bear a mint mark, which was common for pennies produced in that location. However, only a very small number of these were made with the old copper composition. And now, fast forward to the present day, and these specific pennies are worth a small fortune, the $9.2 million penny. How it got its value? Let's get to the real exciting part. The rare 1982 copper penny, the one without a mint mark, is currently estimated to be worth an astounding $9.2 million. Yes, you heard that right, a penny worth millions. It might sound unbelievable, but this specific coin has a significant premium in the market due to its scarcity and historical significance. Why is it worth so much? It's because of the rarity and the fact that it's one of the most elusive coins in American history. When it comes to coins, rarity is key. The 1982 copper penny is a unique piece of U.S. minting history, and there are only a handful of these pennies in existence. As you can imagine, this creates an intense demand among collectors, driving the price up to unprecedented levels. To put it in perspective, finding one of these pennies is like stumbling upon a rare artifact. Moreover, the 1982 copper penny holds intrinsic value because it connects directly to a pivotal moment in U.S. coin history, the change from copper to zinc, which was a cost-saving measure for the government. The fact that this coin exists in such a small quantity makes it highly desirable, and collectors are willing to pay millions for a chance to own a piece of history. How to identify the 1982 copper penny? Now, you might be wondering, how do I know if I have one of these valuable 1982 copper pennies? Well, identifying one is relatively straightforward if you know what to look for. The year, it's a 1982 penny, of course. But not just any 1982 penny, the composition. The key factor is the copper content. If the penny feels heavier than a typical modern penny, it might be the older, copper-based variety. Copper pennies are noticeably more substantial compared to the newer zinc pennies. No mint mark. The mint mark, or lack thereof, is another important detail. Pennies minted in Philadelphia typically don't have a mint mark. So, check your 1982 penny for any indication that it was struck in Philadelphia. Look for mint errors. Over the years, mint errors can add extra value to a coin. If your 1982 copper penny has any anomalies, such as double die errors or incorrect strikes, it could increase the coin's value even more. What makes the 1982 copper penny so special? The 1982 copper penny is special for many reasons. For one, it represents a historical moment in American coinage, the shift in material used to mint pennies. The scarcity of the copper pennies from that year, combined with their historical significance, makes them incredibly valuable to collectors. Additionally, the rarity of the coin in circulation adds to its allure. The 1982 copper penny wasn't widely saved in 1982 when it was first released. Many were spent, and others were simply melted down for their copper content during the following years. This means that finding one in good condition today is incredibly difficult. Current market value and what to expect if you happen to find one of these rare pennies: you could be sitting on a small fortune. As mentioned earlier, the value of a single 1982 no-mint mark copper penny can reach as high as $9.2 million on the open market. However, the value will depend heavily on its condition, the exact type of error it might contain, and of course, the demand from serious collectors. In the current coin market, values are also affected by the broader economic conditions, with rare coins often fetching higher prices when the market is strong. So, if you're lucky enough to find one of these pennies in your pocket change, don't just toss it away. Get it appraised by a professional, as it could turn out to be worth far more than you ever imagined. In conclusion, the 1982 no-mint mark copper Lincoln penny is one of the most coveted and valuable coins in American history, worth up to an incredible $9.2 million. It's a piece of history that combines rarity, composition change, and an elusive nature that makes it a true treasure for collectors. If you have one of these pennies, or if you happen to find one, make sure you protect it and get it evaluated, because you might just be holding on to a fortune. Have you ever wondered if that ordinary penny sitting in your coin jar could be worth a fortune? Well, we're diving into one of the most fascinating and potentially valuable pennies in U.S. history, the 1990 Lincoln penny. This tiny, seemingly insignificant coin, once part of your everyday change, could be worth an incredible $8.4 million. Yes, you heard that right. Stick around as we uncover its extraordinary story, its history, and its unimaginable value in today's market. The Lincoln penny, or the 1-cent coin, has been a staple in American currency for over a century, but not all pennies are created equal. Among the countless pennies minted over the years, some hold significant value due to rare production errors, historical significance, or collector demand. The 1990 penny, while it may appear to be a simple piece of copper and zinc, is anything but ordinary. So what makes the 1990 Lincoln penny stand out, and how does it reach such astronomical prices? Let's explore. Archival footage of U.S. mint operations, machines stamping coins, and piles of freshly minted pennies. In 1990, the U.S. Mint produced billions of pennies for circulation, as it does every year. However, most of these pennies were not intended to be rare or valuable. In fact, the vast majority of them were used in everyday transactions, from buying a candy bar to paying for a bus ride. But somewhere in the chaos of minting, a few rare pennies made their way into circulation, with a subtle error that would later turn them into highly sought-after treasures. Transition to an image of a minting error coin, with side-by-side comparison to a regular 1990 penny. One of the key factors that sets certain 1990 pennies apart is the unique error that occurred during the minting process. A few of these coins were struck without a mint mark. Now, you might be wondering, why is this such a big deal? Well, typically, pennies produced at the U.S. Mint's facilities in Philadelphia don't have a mint mark, but those from other mints, like Denver or San Francisco, are marked with a small letter to signify their origin. In 1990, some pennies were mistakenly struck at the Philadelphia Mint, but with no mint mark at all. This minor error, which went unnoticed for years, has made these specific 1990 pennies incredibly rare and highly desirable to collectors. Numismatist expert: most pennies from 1990 are worth just 1 cent, but when you find one that lacks a mint mark, it's a completely different story. These are considered an error coin, and in the world of numismatics, error coins can be worth thousands, even millions, of dollars depending on their rarity and condition. The fact that the 1990 penny is one of the most popular coins in circulation just adds to the intrigue. Scene transitions back to the penny, now held in a professional display case, with a price tag of $8.4 million. Fast forward to today, and these elusive, mint-markless 1990 Lincoln pennies are considered a holy grail for serious coin collectors. A penny that slipped through the cracks of regular minting processes is now worth a jaw-dropping $8.4 million in today's market. But what makes this coin worth so much money? Graphic showing the current market trends for rare coins, highlighting the value increase for rare 1990 Lincoln pennies. Coin collectors, known as numismatists, are constantly on the lookout for rare pieces to add to their collections, and error coins are among the most sought after. As with any valuable collectible, the condition of the coin plays a major role in its value. A pristine, well-preserved 1990 Lincoln penny without a mint mark can fetch prices in the millions at auction. In fact, one such coin, in near-perfect condition, has sold for an astounding $8.4 million. To put that in perspective, this penny, worth just 1 cent when it was minted, now commands a price tag higher than many luxury cars, homes, or even a small business. At auction houses around the world, these rare error coins are hot commodities. Bidding wars can erupt over these 1-cent treasures, and the highest offers sometimes skyrocket beyond expectations. So, if you happen to stumble upon a 1990 penny with no mint mark, you could be holding a ticket to life-changing wealth. But be cautious, authentication is key. These coins are so valuable that counterfeiters have taken note, so make sure any potential find is properly examined by a professional. Scene showing the U.S. Mint in Philadelphia, with a brief history of its founding and the history of the Lincoln penny. The Lincoln penny itself has a rich history that dates back to 1909 when it was first introduced to honor President Abraham Lincoln, marking the first time an American president's image appeared on a coin. Since then, the penny has undergone several design changes, but the 1990 Lincoln penny, like its predecessors, bears the familiar image of President Lincoln, with the reverse side showing the iconic memorial building. Despite its simple design, the Lincoln penny has become one of the most collected coins in the world. But don't expect to find an $8.4 million penny in every coin jar you come across. The vast majority of 1990 pennies are still just worth a penny, so it's important to keep in mind that while finding a rare 1990 penny is thrilling, it's extremely rare. The odds of encountering one of these valuable errors are incredibly slim, and even if you do find one, the condition of the coin matters greatly. Have you ever found a coin in your pocket change that you thought might be worth something? Or perhaps you've come across a 1990 Lincoln penny with no mint mark? We've got a fascinating topic that will leave you amazed. It's a coin that might just be sitting in your pocket right now, worth only 1 cent. But, don't be fooled by its humble appearance, because this coin has a history and value that could blow your mind. Today, we're diving into the story of the 1987 1-cent Lincoln penny, a coin with a hidden potential to be worth millions. Yes, you heard that right, a penny. But not just any penny. This one is rare, valuable, and its story goes much deeper than you might think. Stick around, because we'll uncover how this simple copper coin has turned into a legendary treasure for collectors. You won't want to miss this one. Cut to narrator on screen holding a coin. So let's set the scene. The year is 1987. Ronald Reagan is president, the Cold War is winding down, and Americans are still using pennies in their everyday transactions. But hidden among the millions of pennies minted that year was something extraordinarily rare, a coin that no one expected to have any significant value until years later. It all comes down to one simple mistake, a missing mint mark. Close-up shot of a 1987 penny with no mint mark. If you're a coin collector, you probably already know about mint marks. For most U.S. coins, the mint mark indicates where the coin was produced. But for a number of years, there were some interesting variations, especially when it came to the Lincoln cent, graphics showing the locations of different U.S. mints. Normally, the U.S. Mint strikes coins in one of three major locations: Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco. Every penny has a mint mark that shows whether it was made in Philadelphia, no mint mark, Denver, D, or San Francisco, S. But, in 1987, something odd happened. Pennies were struck at the Philadelphia Mint, but for a certain period of time, the coins came out without any mint mark at all, shot of various 1987 pennies with and without mint marks. Now, why does this matter? Well, a coin without a mint mark is pretty rare to begin with, and when it happens during a specific year like 1987, collectors take notice. This missing mint mark error makes the 1987 Lincoln penny exceptionally rare. And what's the most intriguing part? A coin with no mint mark from 1987 can be worth big money today. History and background: let's go back to 1987 for a moment. The U.S. Mint had been striking millions of pennies to meet the needs of a growing economy. By the time the year came to an end, billions of pennies had already entered circulation. But, in 1987, some of the coins were struck without mint marks. Although it wasn't until much later that collectors began to realize this error, the result is a limited number of 1987 pennies that were, and still are, incredibly valuable. The 1987 Lincoln cent was minted in Philadelphia, and most of the coins carry a small, P mint mark. However, during certain batches, it appears that some pennies were struck without any mint mark at all. Over time, numismatists, coin experts, realized just how rare these particular coins were, and word began to spread about their extraordinary value. The value of the 1987 Lincoln penny. Now, let's talk about the money. A regular 1987 penny in circulation is worth exactly 1 cent, nothing special there. But if you happen to find one of the rare 1987 pennies with no mint mark in your pocket or collection, it could be worth significantly more. In fact, these error pennies have been sold for upwards of $8.8 million in certain cases, images of auction houses, prices, and record-breaking sales. Let that sink in: a coin that was originally worth 1 cent can now be sold for millions. How did this happen? Well, due to their rarity and the unique nature of the error, these 1987 Lincoln pennies with no mint mark have become some of the most sought-after coins by collectors. There are only a few of these coins in existence, and each one is considered a major find when it surfaces at auction. Current market value and collecting the 1987 no mint mark penny. So, how do you know if you have a valuable 1987 penny? The key factor is the lack of a mint mark. Look closely at the reverse side of the coin, right below the date. If there's no mint mark present, you could be holding onto a piece of numismatic history. How to examine a 1987 penny for a missing mint mark. While these error pennies are incredibly valuable, the market is also very competitive. If you find one, you'll want to get it professionally graded by a numismatic expert to ensure its authenticity and condition. In pristine condition, some of these pennies have been sold at auction for astronomical prices, with top examples reaching as much as $8.8 million in private sales or at high-profile auctions. So, the next time you find a 1987 Lincoln penny, take a second look before you toss it aside. While most of these coins are worth only a penny, the rare ones without a mint mark could make you a fortune. Whether you're a seasoned collector or just starting out, this hidden treasure in your pocket is a reminder of how exciting the world of coin collecting can be. Thanks for joining me on this coin hunt. Make sure to like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon so you don't miss out on more amazing stories from the world of numismatics. Who knows, maybe your next lucky find could be worth millions. Until next time, happy collecting.